Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Golden Opportunities Coaching YouTube channel. Welcome to those of you who are new. Welcome back to those of you who are seasoned veterans of what we do around here. What we do around here is bring about conversations of a psychological, mental health, emotional health paradigm. We do that as often as we can, usually several times per week. We continue to do so as often as is beneficial. And of course, my schedule is, as always, crazy. I am working with a bunch of new clients. Would love to have you to add you to that list to continue to be of benefit there. Please feel free to reach out at PO Perception on Twitter and or in the About Me section of this YouTube page. Either way, we'll get you into contact with me or a member of my team, and we can make something happen from there. The concept there is if you're being disrespected or a person has no respect for you, what are some signs of that as a concept? The first is they talk too much or they engage in gossip. The reality is, gossip is something that has become so pervasive in our society that oftentimes we don't realize the level of disrespect that it actually is. Oftentimes, people gossip because they don't necessarily have something to talk about on a continual basis that actually adds value to the conversation, and silence is uncomfortable for people for a variety of reasons. So, as a result, they engage in the concept of gossip or the construct of gossip in order to feel important and also to kind of keep away from the idea that they don't really have all that much to actually add to the conversation under its natural, normal uh, methodologies or value. And so that can become super challenging, especially if a person isn't willing to admit that they don't necessarily fully have the value of connecting on a deeper level with something more insightful. The next thing is they tend to downplay a person's emotional state. So if they don't have a lot of respect and or they are looking for leverage in the relationship, they're going to downplay the impact that your opinions, your thoughts, your ideas, your concepts, or what matters to you actually has on the rest of the world. This can become super problematic for a number of reasons, not limited to the fact that if a person is constantly being downplayed, they are not getting their needs met on an emotional level at any point. So then ultimately the relationship itself becomes out of balance. The relationship itself ultimately becomes extremely unhealthy, but the average person isn't willing to admit that they are creating that level of imbalance. They will also try to control the trajectory and nature of the relationship. This desire for control, which would not normally exist under normal circumstances, is usually because the individual is extremely either insecure or uncomfortable with their own value in the relationship and such. They are trying to control the narrative of the conversation so as to create the ability to seem more important and or to keep things going in a direction that's going to be mutually or exclusively beneficial to them only. When a person is only concerned about their level of personal benefit, then that becomes super problematic for a number of reasons, not limited to the fact that a person needs a certain level of connectivity to feel like they matter or are important. And when a person is unwilling to really look at their own habits of doing this, they may even develop control mechanism habits without necessarily even doing so intentionally or on purpose. Not to say that every person should be given the benefit of the doubt as it relates to their level of purpose, but at the same time, many individuals don't even realize how unhealthy or unbalanced or disconnected their relational focus is because many times people don't even realize that they have that bad habit. The next thing is their lack of boundaries. So, the lack of boundaries usually comes down to the fact that a person who doesn't have good boundaries is an individual who is only interested in trying to control the narrative as it relates to how they can benefit. Therefore, they're going to push and they're going to control conversations and manipulate them without necessarily considering how the lack of boundaries and or lack of solid structure is going to negatively affect the relationship. They're only into the relationship for the benefit of having someone to, for lack of a better term, complain to, whine to, or otherwise manipulate in their own general direction. And so when that is not the focus of the relationship, there's a lot of problems that come with the realities of kind of having a more balanced relationship with this individual. So it's important to begin to understand how you may be being manipulated, even if you're not necessarily looking at the person as an overt manipulator. Sometimes coercion can become a major manipulation tactic that people don't even realize they're falling prey to for a number of reasons in that way. So hopefully this is helpful. I encourage you to keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment. Until next time, everybody.